everybody. Welcome to the new podcast that I am starting. I am going to be calling this podcast Hitched and Happy. It is going to be a podcast all about wedding planning from a photographer's perspective. I am so excited because I have always wanted to have a podcast that I could do that was related to my career and what I'm doing, but I wasn't quite sure the best way to do that. And then I came up with the idea that I don't have to do a podcast that is directly related to photography. I could do a podcast that is related to wedding planning and relationships. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see my cat. She loves to snuggle, so she's probably going to be here. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen Susie. She got a nice little lion shave yesterday, so she's looking all snazzy and cute. She's probably going to be sitting here while I do this podcast, so you'll see her. Anyways, exciting news about Susie. She was in one of my Instagram reels that I just kind of posted for fun, and it blew up. It got 2 million views. I think it's above 2 million views now. And I posted it about a month ago, and then all of a sudden it decided to blow up and it got 1 million views, and now it is above 2 million views. It is one of those cringy reels that I just kind of post late at night because I'm like, this is funny. And if it doesn't get anything, like, I'll delete it in the morning. But now that cringy reel is going to be out forever, and it's gained some street cred. It's a cool reel now. Yeah, if you go, it's on my personal TikTok. So if you search, I don't even know, Jessie Bigler on TikTok, if you want to see this TikTok that I'm talking about. A couple other things that have been going on in my life today is Instagram has been down. I've been trying to post some funny reels related to photography on my professional account, and Instagram has not been letting me post anything today. So I had to just let that go and move on because it was bothering me a little bit that I couldn't post on Instagram. I also went to the doctor today and I got a physical. So that's what I've been up to today. But anyways, I am here now. I am going to be recording this podcast. My hope for this podcast is that the episodes will just be, 10 to 20 minutes, and you can just learn some tips and tricks about wedding planning, things not to miss, things to look out for. Right now I'm doing a solo episode, but I am planning to bring on some guests. I eventually want to talk about relationships as well, and how to make sure you're marrying the right person, and things to start your marriage off on the right foot. So I'm really excited with where I could take this podcast. Okay, the thing I'm going to be talking about today is 5 things that you don't want to overlook while you are planning your wedding. These are things that I see that get missed, or people don't think they're as big of a deal as they should be. So we're going to talk about that. And then I have a bonus 6th one at the end that is specifically related to wedding photography, since I am a wedding photographer, and I've been to, I think, over 130 weddings at this point. Let me do the math here. Because here's the thing. I've never been married. Okay, I've never planned my own wedding, but I have seen a lot more weddings than most of my couples. So I think I have a little bit of credibility in order to talk about wedding planning, although get back to me when I have to plan my own wedding. I'm sure it is a whole ring of emotions that you go through when you're wedding planning, and you're trying to balance, family members, and everyone's coming at you with ideas, and you're trying to manage the guest list, and you're trying not to hurt people's feelings, and I'm sure there's just a lot of stuff that I don't have to deal with as the wedding photographer at the wedding that happens way beforehand. But anyways, doing the math here quickly on how many weddings I've done. So I've been to over 120 weddings in the last 3-4-ish years. So I've seen a lot of stuff. And, as a photographer, I kind of help to lead the day. I help to keep things on track. I help to keep things on schedule. So I have some tips and tricks that I've seen, and things that I've seen go wrong, and things that you can do to just have the best day possible, because ultimately at the end of the day, you just want to focus on your loved ones and your family, and you don't want to be stressing out about stuff that is not going to matter when you look back on the photos and videos in 20 years. So the first thing that I think a lot of people overlook at their wedding is a wedding planner or a day of coordinator. So a wedding planner is amazing because they have connections to vendors, venues. They can really just be like a one-stop shop for taking all the stressful bits of the wedding right off your shoulders. However, if you're not going to go with a wedding planner, I still suggest that you have someone at your wedding who is going to be coordinating the day. Okay. And sometimes some venues have a person like this that will come to your wedding and coordinate the day if they belong to the venue or whatnot. So if that is an option, I would get somebody, because I have seen things like, for example, if they run out of napkins, or if they run out of ice or something like that. I have seen guests go up to the bride and groom while we're trying to take pictures and be like, we're out of napkins, we're out of ice. That should not be the couple's job on the day. Their job is to enjoy everything they have worked so hard for, everything they have spent all this money on. So I highly recommend getting a day of coordinator, someone that can help you with your timeline, make sure things are staying on schedule, make sure chairs are getting set up at the right time and in the right way that you have envisioned it. So I do highly recommend. Susie is here. She also recommends a day of coordinator. They can just move things, like if floral arrangements need to be moved from one place to another, they can do that. And they can deal with those last minute emergencies. That's the main thing. If there's anything like emergency-wise that goes down on the wedding day, your day of coordinator can handle that, instead of your guests coming up to you for that. Okay, another thing that I think gets overlooked on a wedding day is I think it's really important to schedule in one-on-one time with your love, with the person that you're marrying. That doesn't mean that you have to do a first look. A first look is when you see your person before walking down the ceremony and you guys have a little intimate moment together. You can exchange vows, you can do whatever you're kind of thinking there. If you can, I think it's really important to schedule some sort of one-on-one time with your husband or wife, with the person you just married, because I've seen it all too often where you see each other at the ceremony for the first time. So that's, you can't really talk to each other, connect with each other there, because you're in front of all your family and friends and you guys are like doing the ceremony. So it's not like one-on-one time. And then right after that, just family is on you. The photographer is on you to do photos. Bridal party is on you. Everyone is just wanting to talk to you and see you and hang out with you. And I feel like it can happen really easily where a lot of couples don't even get to check in with each other until their wedding is over, until maybe even the next day when they're like, oh, so yeah, we just got married yesterday. How do you feel about that? So if you can, after the ceremony or even at a point during the reception or before the reception, just schedule like 10-15 minutes to be with your person. And if you want to do just a fun activity with just you guys and the photographer, you can do that. Like if you wanted to go read private vows to each other after, or if you wanted to do like a champagne pop, a champagne toast, the photographer could capture that and then give you guys like 5 to 10 minutes just to check in with each other and be like, hey, how are you doing? We just got married. So yeah, I just think it's really important, although this day is about celebrating with friends and family, that you also have a special moment with just you and your love. Okay, another thing that I think is really important that often gets overlooked is doing a hair and makeup trial. So I think it is worth it, even if it costs extra money or whatnot, to have whoever's going to be doing your hair and makeup, even if it's your mom doing your hair and makeup, your sister, whoever, to come in and do your hair and makeup trial just to make sure that everything is going to go well on the day. Because I have seen a few hairstylist situations where the bride did not like the hairstylist, especially if you're doing something complicated. And the other thing that you want to test with your hairstyle is how easily it can fall out, because a lot of hairstyles, if they're not hairsprayed or pinned correctly, I don't know, I'm not a hairstylist, but I have seen a lot of hairstyles like fall out halfway through the day, and then the bride is like, oh, now what do I do with my hair? Because like the hairdo that I wanted to have has fallen out. So you want to make sure you go with a hairstyle that's going to be secure, that's not going to fall out, everything's pinned up, everything's hairsprayed, and that you also do a hair and makeup trial and really make sure that you like it before the wedding day, because it is not fun when you are getting ready in the morning and you're like, ooh, I don't like the way my makeup looks. So definitely do a test run, even if you're doing it yourself, your mom's doing it, or you have a professional doing it. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to touch on is first dance song length. So It used to be more that people would just play the full first dance, which does get a little bit long for guests to watch. So what I have seen people doing more and more at weddings is they will shorten the first dance to just be the first 90 seconds of the song, which I think is something that you want to think about, and you want to think about what part of the song most speaks to the person that you are dancing with. However, I think the way to do it, because as a photographer, sometimes if people only give me the first verse and the chorus, it's a little bit rushed for me to take photos. So I like it when people don't do the full song, because I think that can go on, but I like it when people do the first verse, the chorus, the bridge, and then one more chorus. That just gives me a little bit of extra time as a photographer, videographer to really make sure that I have got those shots, because I have, like, there's been some songs that were like 45 seconds that they danced for, and I was like, okay, well, I hope I got enough shots in there. So I think about your dance song length. If you do want to do the full song, like, no one's going to stop you. That's still completely fine. But if you don't want to do the full dance song and you are going to cut the song, just make sure that it's still at least, I don't know, within that 2-minute range, just so that your photographer can get enough shots that they need to capture that moment. Okay, another thing that I have heard from brides that I've talked to recently is that when you are planning your wedding, all of the payments for your wedding are typically due like a month before or 7 days before. So all those payments come out at once. So when you're booking vendors, you might want to ask if they have extra or different kinds of payment plans, just so that all of your money for your wedding doesn't like shock you and come out all at once. So most people will take a deposit to hold the date, and then closer to the wedding, they will require the rest of the payment in full. So you just don't want to shock yourself by being like, oh crap, we owe literally all the money for our wedding, like the week before our wedding. So I think that you should think about that and just make sure that you're planning not only your budget, but you're also planning when the payments are coming out, so that all your payments don't just come out at once, or you are aware that all of your payments are going to come out at once for the wedding, and then you can save up that money and have it there. Okay, another thing that I get overlooked, I said it was going to be 5, but I think I'm just going to do 6 because I wrote down 6, and then I still have a bonus one at the end coming. So another thing that I see get overlooked all the time is the lighting direction at the ceremony. This is a bit more to help out your photographer and videographer. So I think it is important that you figure out where the sun is going to be at your ceremony for a couple of reasons. If the sun is facing directly towards one of the couples, that person is going to be staring into the sun for the entire ceremony. It's going to make weird photos for the photographer, and it's also going to be hard for that person to keep their eyes open, and they're going to be like all squinty because they're staring into the sun. The other person's going to look great. The sun's going to be behind him. The photos are going to turn out absolutely amazing. One person's going to look amazing. One person is going to look not so amazing and is going to have to be staring into the sun. So what I suggest is you figure out what time of day is going to work best for your ceremony based on where the sun is going to be. And you can definitely talk to your photographer about this. Like me, if my couple came to me and was like, okay, our ceremony's at this time, here's our location, where's the sun going to be? I have apps and stuff, just because I do some nature photography and whatnot here and there. So I have apps that can tell me where the sun is going to be on like any day pretty much ever. So talk to your photographer about that. Talk to the venue about that. Maybe they have, they know at what time of year. Because the thing is, the sun changes depending on the time of year. The other thing is you don't want your guests to be staring directly into the sun as well. So you either want to position your ceremony so that maybe the sun is lighting you guys up, or if it's behind you, it's not like too bright, too high in the sky for your guests. So I would definitely look into it if you can, and ask for help from others if you need, about where the sun is going to be on your ceremony day. And this isn't only if you have an outdoor ceremony. If you have an indoor ceremony and you have large windows, you want to make sure the sun isn't like directly beaming into one of those windows, because I've actually had this exact same problem happen inside, where one partner was staring directly into the sun and it was like coming in through a window. If the sun is coming in through a window, but it's like hitting both of you or it's behind both of you, that's fine. But if it's directly hitting one person, it's not going to look as nice. So, and it's going to be harder for that person to keep their eyes open. So I would definitely look into where the sun is going to be on your day and ask your vendors if they can help you out with that. Okay, and now I have a bonus tip that is directly related to a photographer, and this is something that happens to me sometimes at a wedding day. It doesn't bother me at all because as a wedding photographer, I'm so used to rolling with different situations and just being able to be flexible and make it work. But it is so nice whenever I do get a table at the reception in the same room as the reception room. Sometimes the venue or my couples will put me in an outside room or a different room to go eat dinner, and I usually end up bringing my dinner back into the room because I just need to know if something's going to happen, if a cute moment's going to happen. I want to be able to jump up and take a picture. So that is a tip, is just make sure that your photographer has a table, and then if you can, make sure that table is in the reception area. So when you're planning out your reception, think about your vendors as well. If you're giving any of your vendors meals, where are they going to sit so that they can be a part of your wedding and a part of your day and a part of the action if they needed to. So those are my 6 tips. It was kind of like 2 bonus tips on things that I've seen just get overlooked at a wedding. So when you're planning your wedding, you can think about how you can address these things, incorporate these things. And, I think wedding planning at the end of the day should be fun. I know there's a lot to do. It can be expensive. There's a lot of opinions from outside people, family members, everything. But at the end of the day, it is all about you and your person deciding to spend the rest of your lives together and wanting to share that with your chosen family and friends that you are inviting. So it's all about showcasing your guys' love and showcasing you two and celebrating the relationships in your life that are special. As long as you can stay true to yourself and your love, I don't think you can really go too wrong with a wedding. And I wish you guys the best of luck with wedding planning. I'm hoping to have some more podcasts coming out soon. I'm hoping to have some guests on. We'll see where this thing is going to go. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on Hitched and Happy.